everyone. Thank you for your patience. We're bringing in a few more chairs, but we're going to go ahead and get this party started. So welcome to the 2019 graduation for the Canine Angels service team. And thank you all for joining us on this special occasion. I'm Carrie Walters, Executive Director, and I'm so proud to be part of this incredible organization, and so pleased for all of you joining us. This day culminates 2 weeks of training, lectures, public outings, and an access test at the Rogue Valley Mall for very brave young people and their families. There's been much joy, a couple of meltdowns, and bonding between the family teams, especially the youth and their dogs. And now we get to celebrate their accomplishments and send them off onto a new journey in their lives, one of greater independence and self-confidence. This day would not be possible without the amazing support that we receive from local businesses and donors. And please see your program for a complete list, but I want to call out a few. Schmidt Family Vineyards. For generously opening your beautiful facility to us every... We have a disability. Opening their facility to us every year, helping us in the planning, and loving on our puppy angels in training. We have Schmitty here today. You'll hear more about Schmitty. Evergreen Federal Bank for always being there to help us with marketing, support, and this year for those beautiful, amazing calendars. Parkway Christian Church, our location for team training and lectures for many years. The Mary H. Storer Foundation for a generous gift that helped to graduate 2 additional teams. The Gauguin Foundation for your ongoing support for a California team. Special little shout out to Jennifer Butler, photography. Jennifer's the one behind the camera, although today we're giving her a little break. Today. She's behind the camera. She goes above and beyond, volunteering her time every day of team training, up till midnight. And you're going to see a fabulous video that she put together for us after graduation. So this afternoon, you'll hear from staff, a parent, a puppy raiser, and a puppy raiser who will share their unique perspectives on this incredible journey. But first, I would now like to introduce our Master of Ceremonies, Bob Lieberman, who's also my handsome and wonderful husband.
And I would like to introduce Sasha, who is my amazing regulating steady force with me at home and now up on the stage. She's been on the stage with me a couple of years at Canine Angels. So thanks, Carrie, and thanks everybody for being here today. It's really a special day. I think we should call this event Tissues and Wine, now that we can have wine out here, which is really great, because it's pretty hard to get through time with these dogs and the young people and actually people who are into adulthood that they're helping to serve and support without getting really incredibly moved. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the program and about team training. I do want to point out, it's in your program, that afterwards we have a bit of a reception. There'll be a video and there'll be some refreshments. There will still be wine there available to us and some merchandise and all of that. So that'll be happening after the ceremony. I want to make sure you feel invited to join us for that. So Canine Angels is a real special program. One of the parents you're going to hear from today, I may be saying something she's going to say also, picked this program. She's in Minnesota and picked this program for her son after researching the various service dog programs across the country. And I'm not sure exactly what her reasons were, but she'll probably tell you. But I can imagine it has to do with the very personal attention and the family-like feeling that Canine Angels brings. There's another team that I had the privilege to meet today where there's a breeder who came here from Virginia and a puppy raiser who came here from Montana. She bred the dog, the person raised the dog in Montana, and the dog is being graduated here today to a family in California, I believe. So, and sitting at the table with them at the breakfast this morning, it feels like family. It feels like their family, and it feels like family with these dogs. It's the highly trained and dedicated people who work with Canine Angels and for Canine Angels have a combined 100 plus years of experience in training dogs and helping young people. So since Canine Angels started about 12 years ago, as a result of Canine Angels, there's about 80 dogs that have gone out and have been assisting young people to achieve independence and to forward in their lives in a different way. And actually, there's a couple of dogs who are retired. Speaking as someone who recently supposedly retired, I can appreciate these 10-year-old dogs who are now retired service dogs. And a couple of them are here today. Maybe you'll get a chance to meet them. So it costs about $20,000 to put one dog through the entire process from becoming an assistance dog for a young person. And support for the Canine Angels is, there's no contracts really. There's fundraising activities, there's grants. Carrie mentioned a couple of the grantors who have been very generous in supporting Canine Angels, and there's private donations. So it's a ton of volunteer time. The amount of volunteer energy, Carrie called out Jennifer Butler, who's just here every day during team training. But the amount of volunteer energy that comes into making this happen for these families is just really incredible. So each litter, well, Canine Angels has a breeding program. I mentioned there's a breeder here from Virginia. We usually breed one litter of puppies per year, but we also have young dogs that are bred for us and donated to us from reputable breeders, and Canine Angels over the years has worked with many rescue dogs. There's a puppy raising program, so I'm kind of sort of secondary part of that because Carrie is raising a puppy right now. So I'm helping raise a puppy. Volunteer puppy raisers are from several different states, California, Montana, Maryland. The woman from Maryland couldn't come, the puppy raiser, but one of her dogs is here. And they bring puppies into their homes for about a year. We teach the puppies commands, get them used to going out in public to places such as restaurants, movie theaters, and stores, and keep them happy and healthy until it's time to send them back right here to around the corner where Sandy puts them into advanced training. Each litter from Canine Angels has a theme. So the volunteer puppy raisers get to choose their own puppy's name within that theme. Some examples of themes are the game litter, the famous dogs litter, the spice litter. I think Nutmeg is here today. And one of the newest litters is the Applegate Vineyards litter. So we actually have a puppy named after our great supporters here at Schmidt. So Schmitty is right down there. Schmitty, if you would raise your paw so everybody can see you. You can meet Schmitty. He's a golden doodle. The puppy that Carrie and I are raising is also from the Applegate Vineyards litter. That's Woldridge. And he wanted to play with his friends today, so he's around the corner at Sandy's being boarded. And Sheila, who you'll meet later, one of the trainers par excellence here, is raising Danson, who actually we think is going to become a breeder for future litters. So the dogs are placed into 4 categories. There's service dog teams. Those are dogs who are matched with children who can demonstrate control of the dog, or matched with people who can demonstrate control of the dog alone at home and in public, and who can benefit from assistance with tasks such as retrieving dropped items, opening and closing doors, turning lights on and off, providing stability, and seeking help when needed. There's assisted service dog teams, and they do the same things, but they're partnered with the dog and a parent in home and in public as a trio. There's Canine Angel Pals. These are dogs who have basic obedience training, and they become companions for children who can benefit from the emotional support and friendship that a dog can bring. And then there's facility dogs, who work with healthcare professionals and teachers in their workplace to assist multiple children with special needs. So last year or the year before, we placed Max at Parkside Elementary School here in Grants Pass, and he doubles up, it was 2 years ago, he doubles up at Grants Pass High. And so in the Boatneck Parade last year, all the students were yelling out to Max to come say hi. He does amazing things. And it looks like maybe District 7 may be in line to try to get another facility done. So this afternoon, you're going to meet some of the families, the young people, and some of the dogs. The families you're about to meet have spent the last 2 weeks in team training. So I've been to team training, not as much this year, but this is an intensive experience. It's kind of amazing to watch how it happens. Students learn everything their dogs can do for them, how to be good leaders for their dogs, how to manage their dogs in public, and how to take care of their dog's health. At the end of the 2-week class, the young people and families take an hour-long public access test, and that's done at the Rogue Valley Mall, in which they have to demonstrate that they are able to successfully work with their dogs out in the real world. So they have things like interrupters, I think, come in or intruders that come in and insist to pet the dog. And then they have distractors. We have a couple of distractors here in the front row here at the Rogue Valley Mall who volunteered their time to just try to distract the service dog. Come up with, Sasha was a distractor, trying to distract the service dog. And so it's testing, can the team handle the dog in a public situation and respond to the variety of things that happen when you're walking around with these very, very wonderful dogs. So I'm happy to tell you everybody passed, and today they will officially receive their dog from the puppy raisers who provided the foundation for their advanced training. So now we're going to hear first from a puppy raiser and then from a parent of a graduate. So I'm going to call up Chris Brewer. Chris is an individual that I mentioned earlier being from Montana, and I think this is the 7th dog that you've raised, Chris, is that right? And she's actually got 2 dogs in tow. So we're going to hear from Chris.
So I'll be perfectly honest, I am so not prepared for this. I woke up Friday morning to a text at 4 o'clock. Hey, we voted and you get to be the puppy. So what I was saying is I woke up Friday morning to a text at 4 o'clock that said, oh, by the way, we voted and you're going to give the puppy raiser speech. And then I got on an airplane, and another airplane, and we've been busy ever since. So I have absolutely nothing prepared, guys. I'm really sorry. So, like you said, my name's Chris. I live in Montana. I am on puppy number 7 here. This is Sage, and he's part of the Spice litter. This one on this side is little Miss Ember, who I raised last, and she is going to graduate this year. You'd think it's the other way around, but she actually is full grown. When I asked, what do you want me to talk about? They're like, well, why do you raise? Swear I was going to do this without crying. Sorry, guys, I don't want to set everybody off. Oh, yeah. So, for me, it started with answering a Craigslist ad to take a tree down for a gal that lives in my area. And as we're there and the guys are doing their thing, I start talking to her and find out she's raised 10 puppies in her lifetime. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have always wanted to do that since I was a little kid and read an article in Reader's Digest about puppies in training. So the next thing I know, I get this call like 2 weeks later. Well, I'm going to raise a puppy and the breeder wants to donate another one, and I have this group that they want to donate it to. Would you like to raise a puppy? I'm like, okay. No clue what I was getting myself into. This was almost 10 years ago. But I gotta say, it's the best decision I've ever made in my life. I swear I get more out of this than the person that receives the dog. I always have a fur ball by my side, 24/7, whether you want them there or not. They're right there. And they get to go everywhere with me. I have met some of the most incredible people in my life through this organization. These guys are family now, and everybody that gets my puppies has become family also. I wouldn't trade this for anything. I'm so excited for Diane. Raising Ember was a unique experience in that normally we have no idea who our dog is going to go to. We have them 12 to 15 months. We drop them off in Grants Pass, Oregon, and say, see ya in 9 months. And then we find out who they're going to. This time, Diane decided that she needed a successor dog, and she wanted something like Ember, found a great breeder, Kim, and purchased Ember, and then I got the pleasure of raising her. So I knew from day one who I was raising for. And at first I thought, oh, this is really cool, this will be really neat. And I start getting into it in a month or two, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what if I screw this dog up? Oh my gosh, she spent so much money, and I'm gonna mess this dog all up, and it's not gonna match her, you know. So of course I just totally stressed myself out, but I am just so happy that it's worked out, and it's been fun to know where Ember was going from day one. We had the opportunity when Ember was 4 months old to go down to California and spend a little time with Diane and her mom, and that was really a really special time for me. I don't know. So any of you out there that aren't puppy raisers or haven't raised before, I can highly recommend it. It. Like I said, it is the best decision you would ever make in your lifetime. I absolutely love it. And I'm one of those that's asking, when is Sage's mom going to be bred again, because I want another one. Thanks, guys, for coming.
Thanks, Chris. I can echo that. When Carrie said maybe we should raise a puppy, well, Carrie's got MS, so she doesn't necessarily run after. She's not really able to run after dogs or that kind of stuff. And I thought, really, can we really do this? Do we really want to have a puppy? And it's just been an amazing experience. I told her not long ago that I'm up for doing it again. It's just unbelievable to watch these dogs get raised, their support from Canine Angels, and they go to boot camp for a while. At least Woodbridge did, went to boot camp, and came back slightly more regulated, slightly more under control. So it's really something else. And last year, someone had a really hard time coming into this, giving up the puppy that they were raising. They were going to give it up and said, we'll never do it again. And then when they met the folks that, the young person that was getting the dog and saw the relationship that was in the bonding that was building, they signed up again. So now I'm going to, we're going to pivot a little bit. I'm going to introduce a parent. So this is the person I mentioned who I talked to briefly this morning from Minnesota. And her name is Shelley Frank. So Shelley, if you come up and talk about your experience as a parent this last couple of weeks.
Well, I too haven't had a lot of time to ponder this, and I will be brief. But my son Thor is 12, and throughout his life, his medical complexities have been just hard to discern. There hasn't been a clear-cut syndrome that we can use as kind of a map, you know, a manual. His disabilities have just been really difficult to define clearly. And even his doctors have said, we just are going to take this one step at a time, you know, one thing at a time. So lots of surgeries, failure to thrive. We've spent a couple summers of his life in the hospital because of difficulty. He was critically ill in 2016. But throughout his life, the one thing that's been unwavering is just this uncanny connection to dogs. And that never changes. And we were always so happy when the dogs would come around the hospital. And every home we went into, every location we were at, if there were dogs, there was Thor. We knew where they were going to be. It's become a joke at my work that my boss's dog will watch Thor for us. He goes to work with me sometimes. Thor does. So even Thor's doctor said he would benefit so greatly from a service dog. But the problem is, how do we quantify that for somebody, right? We don't have a son. Well, my son isn't someone that has a specific disability that I can just describe on paper, send it in, and know what's going to work for him. So I endeavored to call all over the country and eventually ended up on the phone with Sheila. And I think I kept instructor on the phone for a very long time. And during that conversation, I just knew this organization was different. And I know I'm gonna cry. There are not many organizations like this one, if any. I don't know if there is another one, who places dogs in diverse situations. And that's a merit of the giftedness of the trainers and the entire program, right? But I knew after talking with Sheila that time, when we spoke another couple times, and Thor has changed a great deal from the time that we applied for the program until now. But I knew two things. One, that my phone would not ring if they didn't have a dog that was really good. And the other thing is that they wouldn't send us home with a dog, right, if it wasn't right for him. And I found great comfort in that because I'm not intuitively a dog person. I'm not naturally a dog person. And so I knew I needed this structure and support. So I found comfort in those two things, right? Knowing that they would not call and they would not send a dog home if it wasn't right. And that comfort lasted until about a week ago when I started to panic. And I said to myself, they will not send this dog home with me if we don't get our act together. I'm ready for this dog, right? And so I had a day where I just really felt pretty panicked. Like I felt like we were controlled chaos and that there was a great deal more to learn. So how did we get from that day to this one? I would say it's because of our trainers, right? Sheila and Sandy. When I'm not consumed in 2 weeks of dog training in my other world, I'm an instructor and a trainer. I often use the words muscle memory. I often say repeatedly that training takes us from theory to function. And if something's muscle memory, it means it can, it's a perishable skill, right? It can go away. And I consider my classes successful, right, when people leave them mapping out ongoing training, when they don't think that this is just it, right, this one class, they're done, they've learned something. And I went from knowing nothing, right, when I came here, not being an intuitive dog person, to leaving here feeling equipped to keep learning. And that is true education, I feel like. And I'm thankful that we know how to leave here. And if you're a puppy raiser, the thing that just keeps coming to my mind over and over and over again is that you're not just raising a puppy that's going to be a service dog. You're raising the perfect puppy, right? Because that dog is going to go to the perfect person. It's the perfect dog for that person. When I see Thor with Odie and Odie coming into our family, it's like Odie was created for him and created for us. And I've seen that with the entire class. And if you are a donor, you might be here and you're a donor, those dollars multiply, in my opinion. You don't just help a child, you help a whole family, right? And you help those in the community, those that Thor's going to be with and around. So we are grateful to be here. That's Thor's story, and I am very, very thankful for the program and look forward to ongoing continued participation in Canine Angels through the years.
Spent my career working with kids, and when we would kids with a lot of trouble, and we had foster care program, and so we would match, or at least try to match the youth to the family where there was the best match for things to be successful. And that's what Canine Angels does. That's what I think is unique that Shelley was just talking about. There's a matching process. I haven't had a chance to actually watch the end result, but I've learned a lot about it. And if it's not working out for a particular dog, the match doesn't happen. So it's a really unique skill to try to attune a dog with their specific personality with a young person and their specific needs. So it's really incredible. I think a unique aspect of the program. So I'm going to turn this over now so we can get on with the ceremony and the celebration. So I'm going to call up Sandy Mays, who is the lead trainer, Sheila Colby. These folks work magic. When you watch them work, it's magic. So they're going to introduce the class of 2019.
Good afternoon. Oh, she's already pulling out the Kleenex. You think after 12 years we could get through this without crying? We'll just put it right here. If you need it. Anyway, thank you all so much for coming this afternoon. It's really, the puppy raisers are important, the graduates are important, and all of you that help support us are just as important. We couldn't be here without you, your support. And we just so appreciate you taking the time out of your weekend to come here and see what we do and learn more about our program and help support these amazing families that have been here for 2 weeks working so hard. You wouldn't believe. I'm surprised they still talk to us after 2 weeks. Anyway, and thank you, the people that were willing to get up and speak. We don't give them much time because we're kind of afraid if we warn them ahead of time, they won't show. So we kind of spring it on them after we feel like, they're here and they're in it and they got excited because their puppy got placed, or they're really happy because they like the dog their child got, we're like, come on, you can do it. So they both did fabulous, I thought. Okay, so we get the fun part. We get to just talk about the dogs and the kids and share a little bit more about what they've been through this week and what we've learned about them. So, while you are all home doing your homework in the evenings, we are feverishly writing something about you. Trying not to scare you, trying not to make you nervous, but to share a little bit about each person so that you guys can get a feel of each person that's receiving these dogs. So I'm going to start off with Miss Gigi. So this year's class of 12 graduates has kept us all on our toes. With many difficult personalities and disabilities to consider, we decided early on that it would be best to have an extra dog in this class. Oftentimes we just have, each person that we've invited has 2 dogs that we think could be placed with them, so that there's a little wiggle room so that we get the chemistry right and the skill level right. But sometimes there's just a few that you can't tell on paper exactly what they're going to be like, and you need to meet them first. So this year we just kept that 1 extra dog just in case, so we could make sure that we got each placement correct. So this allows us that opportunity to better select that appropriate personality and skill level with that right child. And although many people fell in love with this amazing and fun-loving dog, her energy level and her zest for all things fun kept her from finding the perfect match in this class. Although we did have one family who had a lot of energy that thought they wanted this dog. So Gigi is a female Australian Labradoodle that was donated to Canine Angels by local breeder Cami Lamas of Starlight Ridge Labradoodles. This fun-loving, beautiful girl will find her special placement from our many approved applicants who are currently waiting for PAL, facility, and service dog placements. She will be matched and placed over the summer to just that right person, and we'll be doing a special individual class to help her get placed. So today, Gigi will be presented by her puppy raisers, Alina and Carla Hughes of Southern California. Bring her on up, girls. So Alina is a little unique. Well, no, Alina is a lot unique. You could actually just stay right down there, Carla. Carla, you can just go right there. We sometimes bring all our graduates on the stage, and so that's what the ramps were about. But this year we have 12 of you guys here, and that we couldn't fit you up here. So Alina is quite unique in that she is puppy raising a puppy for our program, as well as receiving a dog from our program. So sometimes we've had that happen where graduates get excited about the program and they don't want to wait for a dog. So we give them a puppy and they raise it for the year. And sometimes it works out that puppy goes back to become their service dog. and sometimes it's not the appropriate personality, even though the dog adores them and they adore the dog, but they need something different. So Gigi will go on to someone else and they'll be placed with a different dog today. But we wanted to give you the opportunity to meet Gigi, AKA Alf. Oh, Gigi Maserati. Maserati was her breeder. Her breeder has litter themes just like we do, and so she was Maserati when she came from the breeder.
Our next graduate that we want to introduce is Michelle. Michelle, how are you? There you are. Michelle is no stranger to Canine Angels. She's attended team training years ago and has also been a puppy raiser for our program. We were so excited when we got a call that she was interested in getting a dog from us. She was hoping for something small, loving, and well-trained. And as luck would have it, a cute little doodle met this description and was about to become available. In a short order, Michelle was making her way to Oregon to receive her pal dog. These two have really hit it off and are having many wonderful adventures together. Michelle will be receiving pal dog Fiona, a female Labradoodle raised and presented by first-time puppy raiser and Canine Angel assistant trainer Claire Wolber of Ashland, Oregon.
Jackson. Although thoughtful and attentive, Jackson was determined to learn all we had to teach. He clearly loves dogs and wants to manage and treat them well. During team training, Jackson could often be found sitting out of the way on the floor, loving up one of the dogs. It was exciting to watch him work hard and connect with his new canine partner. These two share such a special bond. During class, we often bring out agility equipment for the students to practice with their dogs. I was so impressed with Jackson when he went and taught his dog a new agility routine that was quite long, videotaped it, and sent it to me. These boys are going to enjoy many happy years together as pals. Jackson will be receiving Pal Dog Sounder, a male Lab Golden Cross, raised and presented by third-time puppy raisers Carrie and Peter Saunders of Kalispell, Montana.
Our next graduate is Noah. Hiding behind the tree. Don't get to hide over there. This young man knows what he wants and he isn't afraid to work hard to get it. Noah was ready and willing to work any dog and try anything new thrown his way. He has great dog training skills and learned quickly how to manage his dog. Noah was always kind and patient, even when he had to wait while his mom had a chance to practice her dog training skills. It has been a true pleasure having Noah in class and watching him learn and bond with his new dog. I only wish he lived closer so that we could hire him to help us train dogs at the kennels. He has a real knack for understanding dogs and training. Noah will be receiving pal dog Kipper, a male Lab Golden Cross raised and presented by seventh-time puppy raisers Laurel and Victor Guerrera of Rohnert Park. Now, Kipper is doing double duty here. Okay? Being the overachiever of the class, Kipper didn't want to just stop with being a pal. Coming back to join us again for additional training, Noah's mom, Cheryl, will also be graduating with Kipper as her facility dog.
Emery's done an amazing job too. She's going to help. Do you want to speak? Emery, do you want to tell something? So what's your dog's name? What's your dog's name? Who's your dog over there? Let's see. You want to just make it? You want to go? There's a lot of people. So we had to do a kind of an impromptu grooming lecture in the mall on Thursday when we were out training because we just couldn't fit it in any other time. And so we're sitting in the middle of the mall and we're giving this grooming lecture on dogs in the food court area. And Emery shows up and she wants to assist. So she's like got the baby wipes and she's wiping them and cleaning their ears. And she was amazing. Okay, so sadly, several of our PAL graduates were unable to attend today. We have 2 different team training classes. When we have PAL dogs, we try to do a separate team training class that happens prior to this one that we've just completed. So that was about 3 months ago when these PAL placements all were here, and they come for a shortened version of team training. So they were here for 4 days. And they have to learn all the same things that the 2-week class learns minus the field trips. So they have all the same lectures and dog time and videos that we share on dog body language and behavior. And so they kind of have the crash course, but because they're not going to have public access with their dogs, they're going home as pets. They don't have to do the whole week of field trips. So we encourage them all to come back for graduation because it is so important that their puppy raisers get to meet them and that you guys get to see them, and we kind of bring this all together at the end. But there were several that couldn't make it this year, but we still want to give them some recognition. So we had PAL dog Marley, raised by the Cook family of Southern California, and she was placed with 6-year-old Kaylee Ingman of Irvine, California. The puppy raisers also couldn't make it, so that worked out okay. We have PAL dog Cody, raised by Laura Buckman and Julian Nordstrom of Southern California, and he was placed with 9-year-old Sawyer Burdette of San Mateo, California. Fred, you're up. I have like a book here to read about Fred. Oh, you gotta come up here, dude. Come hang out with me. Right here.
All right.
You want to just read it?
They trained me.
Okay, I remember telling Fred back during his home visit and interview that this class was going to be extra difficult for him because he lives local here in Grants Pass. Many of these families travel from out of state, and they have to put their lives completely on hold. But when you live local and you go back home every night, it's really difficult not to answer your phone, not to deal with your family. And I don't think he believed me that it was going to be harder for him. But I would often ask in class, "Where's Fred?" Only to find him balancing another important phone call from the police or fire chief, needing his chaplain services to assist with a sensitive or traumatic situation. Fred is here to receive a facility dog that can help ease the emotional pain and suffering during difficult times. This dog will travel to the many calls he gets when helping support those in need. Fred and his wife also have 2 very active boys at home, one being autistic. So finding that right personality to meet those 2 needs requires just the right balance. It's been a definite learning curve here in class as Fred has been challenged to find his lighter, gentler, sillier side in order to help create a good working bond with his new partner. He's persevered, often stepping outside of his comfort zone. It was evident watching his dog yesterday during his final working exam that the effort is paying off. They are starting to understand each other and finding an excellent balance between work and lightheartedness. I'm excited to watch as these 2 continue to form a relationship and can't wait to see all the comfort they will share with others in need. I'm gonna make sure she didn't run off. Where is she? Okay. Fred will be receiving Facility Dog Hero, raised and presented by first-time puppy raiser Jamie Mays of Grants Pass, Oregon. Please stand tall. You have to bring them right up here. This is what we do for 2 weeks. We pose for the photographers. We're like models. Okay, while they're standing here, I must give a little shout out, as this is my daughter. And this is her fan club, apparently. So as Jamie's mom, I feel the need to give her a little shout out. Jamie asked to be a puppy raiser 2 years ago when she was 10. After many conversations with my husband Ryan and I, she promised to wholeheartely take on this big responsibility, and understanding she'd need to one day say goodbye to this puppy. She agreed it was something she could do. We have been so impressed with the job she's done. The work, the love, the time she's given to help Hero graduate today. She's never complained about the added work and the responsibility of caring for him. And although she's hinted about wishing maybe he wouldn't graduate so she could keep him, she has kept her eye on the ball and done all in her power to help him succeed. It's always a bittersweet thing to say goodbye to a puppy you've loved for a year, and then you've mastered that goal that you set out to raise them for. Jamie, Dad, and I are so proud of you, and proud of your kind, generous heart, wanting to raise puppies for others and make a difference in their lives. I hope it eases the pain just a little bit, knowing that he's living here in Grants Pass. Congratulations on a job well done. We are so proud of you.
Our next graduate is Ava. Sweet and shy, we have been blessed getting to meet Ava and her family during this year's team training class. Changes in routines can be difficult, and this family managed this 2-week class filled with surprises and change like true professionals. Mom and Dad did an amazing job working as a tag team to sit in on lectures, work dogs, and attend to Ava as she transitioned into class for the first week. Never complaining, Mom and Dad took turns working dogs, taking lecture notes, and supporting Ava. Their patience and caring helped ease Ava into class, letting us glimpse her beautiful smile and hear her giggle and play with classmates and snuggle with puppies in her quiet corner of the room. In time, we've been able to watch Ava become comfortable with our class and its ever-changing routine and new people. She loves to walk her dog, petting, kissing, and feeling the security that this closeness creates. Ava will be receiving assisted service dog Shiloh, a female lab Golden Cross raised and presented by 8th-time puppy raisers Julie and Stanley Booth of Azalea, Oregon. Okay. Ava is here, but due to her disability, she's in the back of the room, or back of the area. But I want to acknowledge her puppy raisers. This is Julie and Stanley. Thank you very much for raising an absolutely perfect dog for Ava. Okay.
That one's Nutmeg. So hopefully you can catch a glimpse of Shiloh and Ava later on as they move around the facility. Thor, are you here? There's Thor's mom. Thor's really busy. He's always somewhere.
hanging out with Ava.
Oh, he's with Ava. Kissing a puppy, he does that a lot. I'll just chat about him and he'll show up. So outgoing and always ready to engage in a conversation. This amazing kid has wiggled into all of our hearts. Thor teased the girls and entertained with his knock-knock jokes and helped his fellow classmate Ava relax and play, which is what he was just doing. He clearly loves dogs and would almost always be ready and willing to practice training with the dogs when we asked for a volunteer. 2 weeks of classroom and training days can be trying for both kids and adults. Thor's mom and older sister did a fantastic job keeping him focused and regulated as much as possible, while still managing to pay attention and work the dogs. It was so sweet watching Thor when he would need a break. He would sit quietly on the floor with his head on his dog, gently petting, kissing, and snuggling until settled and ready to move on again. There was more than one time when on our field trips that he could be found with his dog doing a lap command as he worked on regaining his focus from an overstimulating situation. This good-natured boy is going to have many fun adventures with his new dog. Thor will be receiving assisted service dog Odie, a male lab golden cross raised by third-time puppy raiser Lynn and Mark Evans and Nancy and Greg Kuwabara of the Sacramento area down in California. Today, Odie will be raised by their good friend, or presented by their good friend Jamie Putman. Did he want to tell a joke? Want to tell a knock-knock joke, Thor? No. Not yet. I thought they were funny.
Our next graduate is Guichet. Hopefully I'm saying it right. If not, holler at me. It has been such a joy to have Guichet and her family in class. Bright, cheery, and full of energy, Guichet has brought smiles to all of our faces with her happy skipping and singing all throughout the training room. Even the dogs she worked would join in the fun as she skipped laps around the room with them. Her supportive parents always helped her arrive on time. They even accidentally showed up 30 minutes early to one of our field trips when we tried to be nice and give them a late start so they could have some extra sleep. They called concerned that they'd arrived at the wrong location since the rest of the class wasn't there yet. We assured them they were in the right place, just the wrong time. Luckily, our meeting place was right by Dutch Brothers, where they could load up on coffee and enjoy their wait. Thank you for all your joy, laughter, and happy energy that you have brought to our training class this year. It has been a real pleasure working with all of you, Guichet. I'm proud of the hard work you are doing with your dog, and I know you will keep him safe and happy. Guichet will be receiving assisted service dog Bruno, a male lab golden cross raised and presented by first-time puppy raisers Janice and Jasmine Roberts of Grants Pass, Oregon. And he's also learning how to skip, too.
This may have been the family that liked that really energetic doodle. I think everyone's favorite sight in class was when Guichet would put her dogs on downstays, and we'd tell them you really need to distract your dogs when they're practicing their downstays. Don't just stare at them like all the adults do and wait, So Guichet would put them on a downstay and then she would skip all around the classroom. And then when she'd finally come back to her dog, we started this thing like we thought maybe all the adults should start skipping. We couldn't get very many takers on them. Well, how about we have Alina come back? So Alina's really popular, so we thought we'd bring her up twice because this special graduate holds a place in all of our hearts. 12 years ago, Alina helped launch our Canine Angel program by becoming our very first graduate with her golden doodle, Zoe. Zoe is now 14 years old and doing great as she is enjoying her retired life, lounging around Alina's house. Ready for her successor dog and a chance at advancing her independence, Alina is back for her second team training filled with lectures, dog training tests, long days, and homework. I don't feel that way about school. As a diligent college student, Alina has tackled class like a champ.
It's been a real pleasure watching her along with her good friend Hope, who is also a past Canine Angel graduate, current graduate mentor, and blog writer for our program, enjoy 2 weeks together like they are at summer camp. Alina and her mom have had to work extra hard as it takes many hours of snuggle time on the bed and positive reinforcement sessions to help a new dog learn to be comfortable listening and understanding Alina's voice and movements. They have worked hard and made great strides in the right direction. I'm confident that will be only a short time before Alina's new service dog understands her as well as her first dog did. Alina will be receiving assisted service dog Cabo, a male golden retriever raised by fifth-time puppy raiser Ev Paz of Delaware, or perhaps Maryland, I heard. She moves a lot. And presented by Jamie Mays, who had him for the first 2 months.
Okay. She's not the usual kid that comes through our program's doors, but exceptions sometimes have to be made. Sandy had the privilege of training Diane's last 2 service dogs, so continuing the tradition with number 3 just seemed right. Diane is known as Gabby. I'll let you know about the nickname for her dog in a moment. In class, she always needed to be torn away from some conversation in order to get back to work. Her wealth of knowledge from over 24 years of service dog handling was helpful for all of us in class, so Gabby did have good reason to chat. When applying for her service dog, Diane graciously purchased and donated a puppy to the program so as not to take a dog away from a child waiting on our list. Diane needs an active, high-energy dog to help her around the ranch and barn as she spends her days caring, training, traveling, and competing internationally with her horses. Her dog will haul grain buckets, horse tack, and much more from the back of the truck. She will open horse trailer doors, retrieve buckets out of the stalls, and add a gentle forward pull, helping Diane propel herself forward in her wheelchair on level surfaces. These dogs love to work side by side with their person, and it has been a pleasure working with Diane again as she starts her next service dog team journey. Diane will be receiving service dog Ember, aka Chunky Monkey, aka Stubbs, a female black lab raised and presented by 7th-time puppy raiser Chris Brewer of Helena, Montana.
I just wanted to say that her breeder, Kinetics from Ravenswood, Labradors in Virginia, made the journey all the way out to see her graduate.
Maybe that's it. Are we done? Probably not. Okay, Carter. Beating the odds of brain cancer at age 12, this determined young woman has a true passion for animals. After recovering from her life-changing struggles, she found a way to continue riding and showing horses. She joined us these last few weeks as she worked towards another of these goals, to have a service dog that could help provide her balance, retrieve things out of reach, and give her more independence. Her quiet yet determined presence in class will be missed as we go our separate ways. It's been a true joy to watch Carter as she diligently worked with her dog, learning the many needed skills that will help them become a successful team. In just 2 short weeks, it's already evident that the bond this dog and young woman have started to form. Carter will be receiving service dog Dodger, a male lab golden cross raised and presented by 6th-time puppy raiser Brad Coyne of Hillsboro, Oregon.
something else. So we have something special that even Sandy and Sheila don't know about, so don't go far, Sandy. I'd like to call up Allison, and she's going to talk to you about the experience she and her son have had with the Canine Angels.
Hi, my son Evan, who's sitting over there, in 2012 got.
Just grab the box.
That's Evan. Well, he received a service dog named Nita. She was a golden doodle raised by moms. Am I too far away? Okay, sorry. I don't like mics. So she was a golden doodle. She was wonderful, and she changed his life and indeed our whole family's lives. Evan, when he received her, was 14 years old, I think, and was a handful. Adorable, but a handful. Prior to that, Evan had never slept through the night. The first night that we had Vita in our hotel room with us, he slept for 9 hours straight. I have photos to prove it because I didn't think it was possible, so I stayed up. Over time, Vita helped give him confidence, helped develop his social skills, all kinds of things, to the point where next weekend Evan will graduate from the University of Washington. And he credits Vita with helping him develop the confidence that he needed to be able to accomplish that goal, and will be going on to Johns Hopkins University for a PhD in chemistry in the fall. So I am so appreciative of Canine Angels, and I decided that now that Vita has crossed over the Rainbow Bridge very suddenly and unexpectedly, I knit this blanket, which I want to give to Canine Angels to honor all the dogs that have come before. It doesn't say Canine Angels on it, but this is the Rainbow Bridge blanket that I'm going to hand over to Sheila and Sandy with great amounts of thanks for all they have done. You guys and Vita have been one of the greatest blessings in our lives. So thank you.
So I want to say thank you to all of the Canine Angels, all of the members and the family, I guess, and to the family that raised Vita. She literally changed my life, and I know that for all of you that are getting dogs now, these dogs will literally change your life. By the time that you have to say goodbye to them, and it will never be time, you will look back and you will see that you were very different all those years ago when you came to Oregon one summer to get a dog that is probably going to be the most important dog you've ever had. So thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you, members of the board. Thank you, the people who raised Vita and who trained her. And thank you, everybody, for being part of this amazing community.
Truly a different kid than we put through team training. I said, truly a different kid than came through team training. So this was the one that, you know, like every once in a while I try to throw in a joke or be kind of funny at team training because it gets a little heavy. And he wouldn't let me do that. He just like looked at me like, is that supposed to be funny? So I was really impressed when I walked in earlier and he and Hope were chatting about how they were both 21. And so I walked by and said, yeah, I am too. Don't I look great? And he just looked at me and he laughed this time. So. Anyway, thank you.
Don't look a day over 16.
Oh, you're awesome. Anyway, we are so grateful that you guys came and joined us today. It means a lot to us to have you here, and I know how hard it is to part with your guys after you've had them for so long. But thank you for sharing.
Well, over in the Roundhouse is going to be a video, and you can all help support these kinds of journeys that we just heard about from Evan and you've heard about today, and you can imagine for the graduates who are going off with their dogs. And so Canine Angels couldn't exist without the support of generous donations and volunteers, and over in the Roundhouse, there's a sign-in sheet. You can join our list, considering a puppy raiser, considering volunteering. There's envelopes for donations. Every little bit helps, but most importantly, please come watch the video, enjoy the refreshments, meet the graduates, get some Canine Angels swag, and we're going to have some music this year for the first time. Sarah Dion Brooks is going to be playing after the video. So come join us for a celebration of all this incredible magic that is created by Sandy, Sheila, and the Canine Angels team. So thank you all for being here. And we'll see you in the Roundhouse. About 15 minutes, we'll start the